The difference between Chicago and New York drill would probably be, I think New York drill a little more polished. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's more put together. Like, you feel me? That's why I think it go farther. Like, the blow so fast because it's more polished. Like, they drill turn into real, like, hit records, like songs. Like,
Right.
Outside thugging, just rapping.
How long you lived in O Block for?
10 years.
What's it like growing up here?
It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? I can't explain it, but it's a lot.
What's the best part about it?
Shit, everybody know each other.
What's the worst part?
It ain't no worst part, you know what I'm saying?
Everything good.
Everything.
What do you think is the future of O Block? What's gonna happen to the community in the next 5 years?
They probably made this motherfucker better.
On June 20th, 2026, a mass shooting on Chicago's South Side left more than 10 people wounded near 95th and Princeton Avenue. Among the victims, according to sources tracking the situation online, was Risky Bands, one of the most recognized faces of Risky Road, reportedly shot and in critical condition. A red SUV drove through a large crowd around 1 a.m. and 2 people inside opened fire. No one was in custody. The internet immediately started connecting dots. That shooting is the latest chapter in a set of overlapping conflicts that have been building across Chicago for years. To understand what is actually happening and who is involved, you need the full picture. TSG out of O Block, the Bloodhound and Risky Road war on the South Side, Lil Speedy's rise, and Vonoff 1700 taking on what he claims is the entire West Side. Here is all of it. Start with Risky Road, because they sit at the center of the most active ongoing conflict right now. Risky Road is affiliated with the Four Corner Hustlers, primarily operating around 104th and Maryland Avenue on Chicago's South Side. Risky Bands is one of their most visible members, known for dissing and applying pressure on opponents online, and widely discussed in connection with the ongoing war between Risky Road and Bloodhound. That war has produced serious casualties on both sides. The Bloodhound and Risky Road beef escalated significantly following the deaths of Lil Jeff and Lil Scoom. Lil Jeff was shot 19 times in Woodlawn in June 2024. Lil Scoom, closely associated with Bloodhound and tight with both Q50 and Lil Jeff, was lured to a residential address in July 2024 and ambushed outside, shot multiple times in the chest. Rumors circulating online linked Risky Road to the Scoom hit, and a post from a Risky Road affiliate shortly after was widely read as an acknowledgement. Then came the Skrilla situation. Skrilla, a Philly rapper who came to Chicago to link with Q50, was ambushed outside Fort Knox Studios with 6 masked gunmen firing over 60 rounds. He was shot in the thigh. Q50's enemies had come for anyone in his orbit. That shooting is widely attributed to Risky Road in online discussions as retaliation for what happened to their people. On the other side of those exchanges, CEO Hawam, affiliated with Risky Road, was shot in the head while hanging out of a vehicle during what people described as a drill. He died 2 days later. Q50 went on record dissing him publicly after his death, and multiple Bloodhound affiliates joined in. The back and forth between these two crews has been documented, loud, and deadly for years. Risky Bands being shot in June 2026 is the latest entry in a cycle that shows no signs of stopping. Now move to O Block, where a new generation called TSG, Take Some Gang, has been building a reputation since late 2021. The movement was reportedly founded by Gnook and Baby Scoom, and one of their most recognizable faces is Muna Aiki. TSG is viewed by many as the newest crash-out generation coming out of O Block, young, aggressive, with no fear attached to the name. Before they fully established themselves, they lost Cap 2 Hot, one of the most respected young voices coming out of that neighborhood. Cap 2 Hot was killed on May 2nd, 2022, inside the Sonesta Suites Hotel in Streeterville. A group had rented a room and opened a side emergency door for other people. An argument broke out, violence erupted, and gunmen returned and fired inside the building. Cap 2 Hot was found on the second floor suffering from gunshot wounds. He was 18 years old. His death sent shockwaves through O Block's younger generation. He had the respect of the neighborhood and was seen as someone carrying the next wave forward. The loss that really put TSG and O Block in the spotlight was the restaurant shooting involving Mana Duke and Youngin. The two were celebrating a birthday with friends at Pork Chop Barbecue Restaurant on North Broadway in Chicago's Edgewater neighborhood. Mana Duke had posted on his Instagram story that night, showing his O Block chain, and Youngin had shared his location online. Hours later, as the group was leaving the restaurant, gunmen opened fire. Reports said at least 50 rounds were fired, clearly intended to leave no survivors. Manaduke was shot in the chest and died at the hospital. Youngin suffered multiple gunshot wounds and also died. A third man was shot in the back and survived. A witness described masked men pacing outside the restaurant before the group emerged, and some accounts suggested other individuals may have been inside the bar feeding location information to the shooters outside. Speculation online pointed toward Ghoulie Gang, based partly on a vehicle associated with the shooting being found abandoned in an area linked to them and a post that people read as a hint. O-Block denied it. The identities of those responsible have never been officially confirmed. What followed was O-Block affiliates and TSG members going on social media promising to find their ops, claiming their enemies had gone into hiding. The tension from that night is still very much alive. Now to Lil Speedy and the Bloodhound side of this picture. Speedy comes from the 79th Street area, a neighborhood known as Drill City, and is associated with Bloodhound 079, a crew rooted in the old Drill City and MTV territories centered around East 79th Street and South Maryland Avenue. He is one of the youngest and most active members of the new Bloodhound generation, with many people describing him as picking up the energy Lil Jeff left behind. He reportedly jumped off the porch at just 11 years old in 2021, surrounded by street politics from early childhood, and shaped by the losses Bloodhound kept taking. One of his most publicized beefs is with Fully Chop and the PGF camp. At one point, they moved in similar circles. There are accounts of them being cool before things went sideways. The breaking point involved a gun situation that created a hard line between the two sides. The fallout from that beef claimed Lil 50, Speedy's cousin, and one of his closest people, who was ambushed in an alley in Woodlawn, shot twice, and did not survive. After Lil 50's death, the conflict between Speedy and PGF deepened significantly and became one of the more talked about Southside beefs in recent years. Big Jada, Lil 50's sister, put a $30,000 bounty out publicly on whoever she believed was responsible. When asked about it in an interview, Speedy's response was that Jada loves him. That energy, unbothered, trolling, is the energy that has defined how he moves through every conflict on his name. On the west side, Vonoff 1700 and Toss Gang are operating in a completely different lane but at the same level of activity. Devon Meeks, known as Vonoff 1700, reps Toss Gang out of the 1400 through 1700 blocks of West North Avenue, a stretch of territory where, by his own account, different block numbers are all the same crew. He has been there his whole life and is vocal about it. What makes Vonoff one of the most talked about names on Chicago's West Side right now is the scope of who he is beefing with. In an interview, he explained that rival sets have been clicking up, forming alliances across the West Side, and Toss Gang's response has been to go to war with all of them simultaneously. North Lawndale clicking up with Austin crews, everyone linking together against his set, and his answer is that if you are running with the ops, you die with the ops. He has said this publicly and repeatedly in interviews that multiple people have pointed to as some of the most self-incriminating content any Chicago rapper has put on record. He has also been beefing with Smiley, Lil Durk's cousin, connected to Cello Gang, Black Mob, and OTF, after dissing him in a snippet. The strange part of that situation is that Smiley said publicly he swore on his grandmother that he had never met Vonoff in his life, had never even seen him. Vonoff kept mentioning his name anyway. That kind of reach, going at someone in a completely different lane without any apparent personal history, is part of why Toss Gang is described as beefing with the entire West Side and then some. What all of these situations have in common is the same thing that has defined Chicago's drill scene for over a decade: young men building names and enemies at the same time, with social media documenting everything in real time. TSG representing the newest O-Block generation. Bloodhound and Risky Road still grinding against each other, with bodies on both sides. Lil Speedy moving with the same energy that defined Lil Jeff while carrying his own set of wars. Vonoff 1700 calling out the whole West Side with the confidence of someone who does not believe in picking smaller fights. The Risky Band's shooting in June 2026 is the most recent public entry in all of this. Whoever pulled that trigger knew exactly what they were doing and where they were going. The streets are watching what comes next. Drop a comment. Which of these situations do you think is the most dangerous heading into the rest of 2026?